Starfield is a game that I heavily enjoyed at launch, but after several months now, and after playing the game for over 200 hours, there are definitely huge flaws to the game. I posted my Starfield review about 2 months ago now, calling it brilliant but flawed, and I also made a Starfield is amazing video, which I still stick by because I do feel like Starfield is amazing, but in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I feel like Bethesda should be adding to sort of fix Starfield. Because there are a lot of mechanics in this game that somehow Bethesda just missed to add. Like, one point I want to make is that there are no doors for camp building. Like, what? When you build in outposts, there's only the airlocks. And it's not even like that's just forced on the planets with no oxygen. You can't just use doors. So it is so annoying, and I mean so annoying, to have to open a door or the airlock when you're trying to go into your base on a planet with oxygen. Like, I get if you're trying to make a research base, but can I just build a hut or like a house or a door? Like, why is it always outposts? Why can't we build houses? Which is going to be a part of my wish list, which I will be getting more into this video. But if you hate the game, completely fair, or if you love the game, like myself, sit back, relax, and listen to my wish list and what I think Bethesda needs to do to fix this game. Okay, first up, straight up, new guns and weapons in this game. Okay, there are so many different types of guns and weapons in this game, but they get old very quickly, I'm gonna be honest. And especially, like, some of the guns, like, every time I start a new character through the Unity, I always just find a big bang shotgun, and that's my go-to weapon, because that gun is so broken. It doesn't even matter if you have things spec'd into it. It is absolutely broken. It rips through everything. So, I'm going to be asking for Bethesda at least, or even modders could adhere to this wish list, more weapons, more proper weapons, more different types, because the types of ammo we have are like the normal ammo, and then heavy energy, light energy, and I think there's like another one. But like there's a few different types of ammo compared to, say, even Fallout 76, where there's all the different types of ammo for all the different types of rifles, and then you have the better versions of those ammos, like the ultra sight ones, which I don't know how Bethesda missed here. Like, they have so many mechanics from past games that they could put into Starfield, and they just never did it. Another thing that I've seen players begging for is vehicles in the exploration systems. I don't know what Bethesda was thinking when they decided to make massive procedurally generated worlds and each point of interest being like a 5-minute walk. Why? Why don't we have vehicles? Why can't we mount like creatures? Why do we have to run and walk? And the only reason, like, the only good way to really just get there quickly is to use amp and then to use the personal atmosphere, which means you have like unlimited stamina to run. Like, everything else is boring. I can't walk for 5 minutes to a point of interest on a planet. It is so boring. And having a rover vehicle, and then maybe even saying shoving more enemies down instead of just barren planets at times, I get a lot of planets are not going to have life, but you got to put something. Like, and I'm getting so bored with my wanted skill and a ship just landing not even close to me. Why aren't there, say, bounty hunters already at the location, say, I'm going for? Or say, like, they should set up ambushes, right? So, like, I'm walking by some rocks, and then they all start ambushing me, and they're actually high level too, right? They're not level, like, 6, and when I'm level, like, 80, right? This is an issue as well. They really need to increase the level cap. Like, they should be hitting level 90s minimum. So, like, I don't even know how they mess up a leveling system in a single-player game, but it's something they have to fix. We need vehicles. We do. We 100% need vehicles. We need way more points of interest on the procedurally generated maps. We need to be seeing something every 40 seconds, I feel like. Something interesting every 40 seconds. Whether it's a cool rock formation or whether it's something to pick up, it needs to be something, because we can't be walking aimlessly for 5 minutes just to get to something that we've already seen. And I've seen some really cool locations, man. I've seen some giant buildings. I've seen towers, but they're all the same. They probably built like 15 points of interest and then decided to shove them into 1,000 planets. They needed to build like hundreds of them. You can't make 15 different types of buildings and then decide, okay, let's randomly generate it across thousands of planets. That is an awful game plan. They needed hundreds, and I mean hundreds of different kind of locations. Even if it's just the same building but turned, switch up the interiors a bit, just make it feel new, because what they've done is just garbage. The vehicles portion of what I just talked about most likely will be fixed by Bethesda, but I'm really hoping modders can really get to work on the points of interest. Even if they just take what we have and just rearrange the interiors. Like, so it just doesn't feel the same every time I invade a tower with a bunch of, like, enemies on it. Like, make the rooms different, change up the computers, like, move around the chairs. I don't know, just do something to make it feel new. Because what Bethesda's done, they built a very awesome looking area, like the giant towers, the giant landing pads with the research stations. That was so fun to explore for the first time, man. Like, so cool. I have to jetpack up to this thing, and then like there's like this 20-minute adventure into this huge building. It was so cool. Finding all these secrets. I found contraband, bosses at the top. It was awesome, man. But finding that more than once, it gets boring because I know exactly where everything is, because they don't make it different. They don't change it up. It's the same spot, just on a different planet, and then they just maybe a different enemy type, maybe a different boss, depending on the planet and the like area. But like what they really should be doing is making way more points of interest, and I'm really hoping Shattered Space adds more of them, or they just add more of them over time, because they've been really properly adding more content, and not even content, but more quality of life fixes. So I'm hoping with their first content update, we need more points of interest, okay? Because that should have been something that had a lot more effort put into, especially for a Bethesda game, man. This is a Bethesda game. Like, Bethesda games are known for their exploration and their awesome points of interest. And Starfield, they butchered it. The only good areas are the areas that are actually, like, made, right? Like, even the outside of, say, like of a New Atlantis, it's garbage. I explored it. It's literally just wide space land. It's not like you find anything cool like a house out there. It's complete garbage. Like, even in Aquila City, like outside, like the only reason there's stuff there is because there's actual quests to do. But still, man, the points of interest, they made a procedurally generated land. They probably didn't even make like the land around New Atlantis. They probably just procedurally generated it and then shoved the city in the middle. There was very little effort when it came to the actual exploration of the planets. And I respect Bethesda for trying something new, but they failed at it. And it's really sad to see that they failed at it, because they could have done something really awesome with it if they just put more points of interest down. If we saw something every 30, 40, 50 seconds, the game would be a lot more fun, honestly. One thing I want, and it's something that Bethesda has not actually worked on, but is underwater exploration. I really feel like, man, because they do have swimming in this game, but it's the most bare bones version of swimming I think I've ever seen. To my understanding, I don't think we can go underwater. I don't know why, because in every other game that Bethesda's made, we can. To my understanding as well, Fallout games at least. I don't know about the Elder Scrolls series, but why can't I go underwater? Why is there nothing cool underwater? And like Fallout 4, there's so many cool things you can find underwater. There's a whole ass like communist sub you can find, and there's huge quest line that you can do. It's so damn cool. You can go through this cave in Fallout 4. I know exactly what cave it is. You'll go through this big area, you'll get hallucinations, you'll fight ghouls, and then you'll find this really badass sword that makes enemies bleed. Like, if you've played Fallout 4, you might know what I'm talking about. But like stuff like that, where we go underwater, we explore. It isn't just about planets, Bethesda. It needs to be about like other things as well. And what I feel like they should do, what they really should do, is make 10 planets. 10 proper sized planets in one solar system that is actually created, right? Even if they just procedurally generate it and shove shit everywhere, that's completely fine. That's what they should have done. I would have really respected, and I see that now. I loved hearing 1,000 planets. I was amazed. I was like, oh my god, this game's gonna be a banger. I was losing my shit. Now, I would have taken 10. I would have taken 50 planets with actual content and actual really good points of interest on them, instead of shoving 1,000 planets down, having them, most of them being barren, which is fair, because not every planet's gonna have life. But let's say 50 planets, let's make 25, let's make half are barren and half aren't, right? Like, honestly, one thing I wanted to do as well was to make 1,000 outposts, but the way that they handled their outpost system, I understand again that it is late game, but it's so expensive. The resources needed to build, they're so expensive, and the cost for the generators, they're so annoying. Like, the entire outpost system pisses me off, and I've seen people make awesome builds with the outpost system, but that takes a lot of effort. And Bethesda, guys, your gameplay loop is fun. Like, I do love the gameplay. Like, the gameplay and shooting, I think, is perfect for this kind of game. I love it, personally. And I can't wait to play it in a higher frame rate and with mods when my PC is finally built. But the gameplay loop of collecting materials is garbage. It is awful. It is garbage. I don't know what they were thinking. And it really disappoints me, because it could be a lot better. I'm also going to guess the next thing that I'm talking about must have been cut content, because Bethesda must have thought of this, really. Space stations. Why can I not build and buy a space station? Why are there only like 7 of them? And why are they so procedurally generated and garbage? Guys, they made such a big world, but I don't know how this game took like over 10 years to make. I'm going to be honest. They really started developing this game after Fallout 4. I don't know how it took that long. Okay, I get the pandemic fucked everything up, but this game should not have taken that long to make. It is not content heavy. It is very quantity filled, okay? The quality of the content that is there, I would say, is very good. But the lack of the actual content is low, man. Like, you have to, I get it, but there's just tons of side quests. Like, there's probably still dozens of side quests that I still haven't played, and I can't wait to go back and play them. But like, they're not worth it. They're small, they're slow, everything about it. I don't know what it is, but they're slow, right? We need more actual investment into this, or they need to make it a lot more apparent of where these quests are, because playing the slow stuff is not fun. And just to get XP, it's so boring, and having to replay the story just to get XP, because it's super hard finding all these side quests and they're all boring and they don't pay off well for the time I put in. It's really just annoying. And then that also leads back to space stations as well. I mean, think of how many cool things we could build. Like, why can't we build a space station? And I know there was a bug where we could get a space station, but like, this should be an actual thing. And I'm hoping in Shattered Space we open up to actually being able to buy or build our own space station, because we can build outposts, right? And what I would love is, from No Man's Sky, for example, once we have our space station, we can see it in orbit, like from the planet. I think that would be amazing, even if it's some specific, like, procedurally generated thing, right, where we need to actually, like, set a space station to an area, and then you look up and you can see it, like, really far, but you can see it maybe through, like, binoculars, or not a telescope even, or like some scanner. That would be awesome, because then, like, you could actually control that area. And it's just something like space stations would be really cool. Something I wish for as well, and modders would be able to implement this, I'm going to be honest, pretty well, is an actual outpost management system. I understand the management system that they have. It's garbage. Compared to Fallout 4, it's absolute garbage. I loved Fallout 4's management system, having to give everyone food, water, and defense. Why don't we have that here? Why? Like, I've never gotten raided on an outpost. I don't think I have any defenses out. Like, they don't raid camps. Like, they didn't properly plan that out. This game realistically needed one more year to actually make sure that all of their past successes are in this game, and they fucked that up, because I thought the outpost mechanics in Fallout 4 were awesome. I thought the defending the bases and actually building up everything was awesome. I thought talking with the settlers, setting them to farming, setting them to collecting water, to defense, I thought that was really cool, and it's one thing that they actually didn't add here. Like, why? So many successful things they didn't add, and it's so random, because outpost building was awesome, and they fucked it. I don't know how you fuck outpost building, but they did. And then they also butchered the camp system. What I also want to see is, like the Minutemen in Fallout 4, being able to go to planets and actually converting them to cities. Let's say you control a spot on a procedurally generated map, right? You bring resources there, and then the settlers start slowly building, like, buildings themselves. They start slowly cultivating farms, especially if it's like inhabitable planets, or if it's not, right? Or say you have to build like domes if it's inhabitable, and then they'll place shit down for you, right? You bring them, say, 100 iron, 100 whatever, and they'll build that. You can make them research projects. They'll set it off. Like, Bethesda can even code it in where, like, okay, depending, there's a bunch of different styles you can choose from, so you don't have to build it yourself. The settlers will. It takes time, of course, and you have to supply it with like resources that you find. But like, that would be so cool, and then we can actually cultivate planets. And like, what I want to see as well as cities, because I've seen some pretty cool cities, and I've seen some self-sustaining cities that people have built in the game, and I want to see more of that from factions, because in Fallout 4, I spent probably hundreds of hours just on the settlement building alone, building up bases and collecting resources, and I want to be able to do that in Starfield, because Starfield is a lot of fun, and it's really cool, but also very disappointing that we can't do that in Starfield. And what I'm going to be talking about next is a lot more advanced than what I think Bethesda can do with their engine, at least, but economic factions and trading like that. Let's say you start a faction. Let's say if we can actually start our own faction like the Minutemen, but we can name it or something from pre-designed choices, or we can name it ourselves, and we're able to make trades with other factions like the Crimson Fleet, like Sistef, like all of these huge factions or cities, Aquila City, New Atlantis, all of the smaller settlements. Say if we can make trade agreements and we can defend them, like, or you can hire people and then like you can train them and then you can set them up to do jobs. You can start your own space militia. Like, I think that is super cool, and then you can build space stations. Like, what I really want to do, what I want to do is have an army. And I love that in Bethesda games too, and in RPGs in general. Being able to cultivate an army, like an actual military force, I think would be really cool. And that's the one thing I really loved about Fallout 4, is that the Brotherhood of Steel is that. It's a military force that you were able to bring in even to higher standards. They'll get better gear. They'll get fucking Liberty Prime. We need a Liberty Prime in Starfield, I'm going to be honest. Well, that we can transport through like a big carrier, drop it down, and it'll just rip through raiders or some shit. Like,
it's like year 2030 something, right, man? Like, we're pretty far in the future here. They could make something like that. So there's like just a lot of things that they could add. And one thing I would love is, the faction system, where we'd be able to build our own faction, or say join other factions, right? We can join the Crimson Fleet, bring them to new heights, Sistef. And I get like, yeah, no, for those factions and those quests, you have to choose one. But like, why can't we go further than just completing their quest and eliminating the Sistef or eliminating Crimson Fleet? Why can't we spread their, like, piracy, like, or we can spread Sistef's message and eliminate all pirates in the settled systems, right? Like, why isn't that an option? Why is it always just randomly generated pirates? Because at some point they're gonna run out of Crimson Fleet pirates. Let's be honest. Like, you might not run out of spacers, but you are gonna run out of pirates. There's only so many gang members. And like, say even like for, what was her name, Neva, right? Delgado's second in command. I did see something where you can kill her. I don't know if it was cut content or if it was just finally a random encounter that I saw, but she does escape at the end if you side with Sistef, and you can kill her at some point, to my understanding. So say, like, why do we keep seeing Crimson Fleet if both their leaders are dead and we took over their base? Like, at that point they're just scattered. Why don't, say, we see Crimson Fleet, even like if it's like former Crimson Fleet members as names, and we see them in settlements, we see them joining Aquila City, we see them on New Atlantis, we see them on farms if we visit procedurally generated planets, and they talk to you and like, you're the one that took down the faction, but that's good though, because I've been leading such a good life on this farm, I got a girl, I got a kid. Or, like, you ruined my fucking life, I'm gonna kill you, and then like a big group of them attack you. Like, more in-depth shit like that would bring the game to life. More consequences for my actions. And same as Sistef as well. Like, say the United, New Atlantis, they put a permanent bounty on you. You can't work with them anymore, Like, and for the sake of the Unity, where you can restart, it won't matter anyway, because you'll just go through the Unity again, you can try new things. So, like New Atlantis, permanent bounty on you. Say for the main story, like, Constellation's like, look, we can't work with this anymore. You can't even land on the planet. So say they have to do comms calls or whatever, and it's like, look, because they've done it. I mean, like, we'll just put the armillary, which holds all our artifacts, on your ship, right? And then that kind of get around that. But then, when it keeps leading into story shit, say, we allowed you to come onto the planet for one time, bring all the artifacts, like, go around that. I really just want more in-depth, because what I see here is an awesome game with a lot of awesome mechanics, but they're not in-depth enough. And I feel like it's a perfect saying that Starfield is as wide as an ocean, but deep as a puddle. There's so many mechanics, but very little of them go as in-depth as say Fallout 4 or past Bethesda games even have. And when I talk about factions and building a militia, I want to make this clear. Another thing that I need, and after playing Baldur's Gate, I need, is more power to the character. And I've seen this a lot, but all NPCs react to your actions. And I've even seen this in a game like GTA Online. And I was playing one of the recent DLCs, The Contract, that came out a year ago, and there was a dialogue option between Franklin, who is in the story, he's also in the online mode now, and another character talking about, when I was raiding a yacht, Franklin said to me, "You own a yacht as well, right?" And then the other character said, "Yeah, no, they also own a penthouse." And then he's like, "What the fuck? You own a penthouse and a yacht? Who the hell did you rob?" And then because I've done all of the heists in the game, the girl says, "Well, according to my records here, everyone." It's things like that that I love and I adore when I see them in video games. And in GTA Online, I don't expect to see that. But I expect to see that in games like Starfield. I want to see NPCs reacting to actions that I've made that don't even correlate to their storyline. I want to see a person in Aquila City saying, "It's that guy who helped the Crimson Fleet eliminate the Sistef. That guy's an asshole." Or, "It's that guy who helped the Sistef take down the Crimson Fleet. Good for him, maybe he'll give me something." Or complete, like, raiders on a planet saying, "You helped the Crimson Fleet, you fucked us over, you gave them more power." Or like more raiders could be like, "We joined them up because they're just an everlasting force, we have to join them now, so, and we're better for it." Stuff like that honestly, but like, game developers in general really need to hear this, especially in RPGs. Things like that I adore, because it really opens the world up and it makes it feel alive when all NPCs know what I've done and all NPCs react to my actions. Like me blowing something up, or see me attacking New Atlantis, for example, or defending it from the Terramorph attack. Why isn't that news spread across more than just New Atlantis? Why isn't it spread across the entire settled systems? Clearly it's information that's going to be spread quickly. We live in the galaxy, right? I mean, those characters are in a galaxy. News spreads quick. There are news reports, there are radios, kind of, but even like for couriers spreading that information, it would happen. That's about it for this video. Honestly, all of the features and kind of stuff that I want Bethesda and even modders to add, it's a big list, right? I mean, it's very ambitious things, but for a game that's going to be going for probably 6 to 8 years because of Bethesda's very long development time, like we're not getting Elder Scrolls 6. And even more disappointing for me because I'm not the biggest fan of Elder Scrolls, but Fallout, I'm not getting that shit till I'm probably 30. I'm going to be completely honest, I will not be 30 till I play Fallout 5. And that is disappointing because I think I was what, how old was I when I was playing Fallout 4, man? Like 12, 13 maybe? No, I was younger. I was like 11. I was 11 when playing Fallout 4 for the first time. So playing like Fallout 5 when I'm over double the age, that is disappointing. And I need, honestly, Microsoft or Bethesda to fucking start working on their shit better. Like, they need to speed up production because we cannot be waiting till 2030, 2035 for a next Fallout game, right? Other developers need to work on that. But out of what I've said out of this video and all the features that I want added, Bethesda needs to add these features, okay? Or take them into consideration. The faction stuff, I can see if they're not, because those are very ambitious. But, like, the other shit, like the vehicles and then the resource gathering and, like, all those issues with outposts, they need to fix. And it's a big issue with fixing because a lot of this game is not fun. Like, the outpost management, I don't like it. I loved it in Fallout 4. I even loved it in Fallout 76. I don't know how you butchered it here. Like, they didn't butcher it in 76, but they butchered it here. Like, when I can't build doors, I think it's a pretty bad start. But overall, this is, like, my wish list for Starfield. If you do have your own wish list, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, man. Tell me what you guys think should be in Starfield. I'll comment back. I'll agree. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'll agree with mostly anything as long as it's like actually fucking cool. I mean, I bet everyone has a lot of awesome ideas on what could be added to Starfield, but let me know in the comments down below. But if you did enjoy this video, consider leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you also choose to, and I will see you all in the next video.